Prague, a city steeped in history. Ancient legends whisper through its cobblestone streets, none more haunting than the tales of Charles Bridge. Completed in 1357, it has stood for centuries, a silent witness to the passage of time. The bridge is a stone giant, its massive arches reflected in the dark waters of the Vltava River. 30 Baroque statues line its sides, their shadows stretching long and eerie in the moonlight, each one a silent sentinel guarding the bridge's secrets. As I stepped onto the bridge, a chill ran down my spine. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of history, and something more. An unseen energy thrummed beneath my feet. This was not just a bridge, it was a conduit between worlds. Tonight was different. The full moon hung high in the sky, casting an unnatural silver glow over the city. It illuminated the bridge, revealing every crack and crevice in the ancient stone. The statues seemed to loom larger, their faces twisted into expressions of silent agony. The usual crowds were gone, tourists safely tucked away in their hotels, leaving the bridge deserted. Except for me. I could feel eyes on me, watching my every move. Though I was alone, I didn't feel it. I was surrounded. A low mist crept over the river, swirling around the bridge's arches. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, bracing for something sinister. I pressed on, drawn deeper into the heart of the bridge, compelled by an unknown force. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, a drumbeat echoing in the silence. A faint whisper reached my ears, a murmur carried on the night wind. It was low, indistinct, but it sent shivers down my spine. Someone, or something, was trying to communicate. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. I could feel a presence nearby, cold, ethereal. It was moving toward me slowly, deliberately. Out of the mist, a figure began to materialize, tall and imposing, clad in what appeared to be ancient armor. It was a knight. His armor, dull and tarnished with age, seemed to absorb the moonlight. He bore the weight of centuries on his shoulders, his face hidden by his helmet. But I could feel his gaze upon me, intense, penetrating. This was no ordinary night. This was a night when the veil between worlds thinned, and the ghosts of Prague walked among us. Section 4. The Knight's Uneasy Stare. The knight glided towards me, his footsteps making no sound on the ancient stones. His armor rattled softly, a mournful clinking that echoed in the stillness of the night. He stopped a few feet from me, his visor still obscuring his face. His silence was unnerving. I could feel his eyes boring into me from behind the cold metal. What did he want? Why was he here? He raised his gauntleted hand, pointing towards the other end of the bridge. His gesture was slow, deliberate, a silent command. I didn't know what to make of it. Should I follow him? Could I even trust him? He seemed to emanate an aura of sadness, of unfinished business. But was he friend or foe? Fear threatened to cripple me, but I also felt a strange sense of responsibility. This knight, this specter from Prague's past, needed something from me, and I felt compelled to help him find it. Section 5. The Lady in White. As I took a hesitant step forward, my eyes were drawn to another figure emerging from the mist. It was a woman this time, dressed in a flowing white gown that seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. Her face was as pale as the moon itself, her eyes filled with a deep, sorrowful longing. She was breathtakingly beautiful, yet there was something undeniably eerie about her. Her beauty was out of place in this setting. It felt cold, lifeless. The woman glided across the bridge, her feet barely seeming to touch the ground. She moved towards the knight, her eyes fixed on him with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. The knight in turn lowered his head slightly at her approach, a gesture of respect, perhaps even of love. He then turned his gaze back to me, his message clear. I was to follow them, both of them. I was caught in a web of spectral intrigue. Two ghosts from Prague's past, bound by some unknown history, and I, a living witness to their ghostly reunion.